Hello, and thanks again for tuning in to the Mostly Professional podcast. My name is Matthew James French, and today we are talking to our guest, Jake Moss. We'll be talking about painting, writing, theatre, working overseas, a very special woman named Margi, and growing up. This is part 1 of 4, so make sure you check out the next installments over the coming weeks. Hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. And welcome back to the Mostly Professional podcast. I am Matthew James French. Thank you for joining me again to explore the space between master and beginner of craft and career. Tonight, I am joined by a Jake of all trades. Jake Moss is a painter, writer, director, filmmaker, photographer, musician, poet, probably something else. That's just what I grabbed from his website and various social medias he infrequently visits. Jake is a bit aloof. The other thing, for this episode, I'm just going to issue a language warning for the pure reason that I don't want to have to deal with anyone getting upset later. Jake has some very colourful language in the title of some of his works. I don't care. He doesn't care. No one should care. Moving on. Speaking of which,
yep.
Jake, we met at Metro Arts in, you reminded me, 2016?
March 26, 2016.
March 26, 2016.
Yeah.
At your show.
Yeah.
Is There Pussy in Heaven?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that show?
That was a show I did, a one-man show. It was about depression and abuse in like the lives of young people. And I created it in memory of a friend who had passed away. He took his own life. I went to high school with him and film school with him. And I already knew I wanted to do some theatre stuff. Actually, I think I already booked out theatre. And then I realised, okay, I'll do it about this. And yeah, it just made sense at the time because it just came to me and I thought, okay, I'll do that. But I didn't want to do anything biographical or anything, so I thought, okay, I'll just create this one-man show, and yeah, you saw it, you know what's up. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That was the first time I'd come across you and your work, and I can't remember who I saw it with.
You saw it with Gina?
Yeah.
And some other people.
Yeah, from where I studied acting. And we were curious about your voice coming through the language and the dialogue and the story structure and everything like that. It's a very dry way to put it. But the way we enjoyed your voice on stage.
How did you guys find out about the show?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a combination of like, we enjoyed nearly everything that was on at Metro Arts. You often like to make things free and cheap.
Yeah.
So it was possibly an incentive of like, it's not that expensive.
I think it's for like $10 or something.
Yeah. And we were like, oh, sweet, $10? Yeah, we'll do it. And like, we liked one-man shows and probably a bunch of stuff like that. Now, also, welcome back to Australia.
Yeah.
You've been overseas many a time in your life. Where are you back from this time?
This time I'm back from Finland. So I was at this art residency for a bit, and it was just amazing. It was a few hundred k's from Helsinki up northwest. I don't know how to pronounce the place, but yeah, it was at this creative center there, and every day I just painted a lot, and every day we had meditation and yoga, and yeah, it was good. Yeah, so that's where I'm back from now.
Yeah. And the show we just talked about, that was on at Metro Arts in Brisbane, which sadly is
leaving.
in the process of being sold.
Removing or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, which is quite sad for a lot of Brisbane artists.
Yeah, I guess so. But at the same time, like, I don't know, things only mean like as much as you want them to. So it's very easy to get over things like that. Like, yeah, it's sad, but then I think like there are businesses that move locations every day. Like, you can't get too attached to something, you know. Yeah.
But that venue fostered a lot of your work and development. What was your experience while you were there at Brisbane Arts Theatre at Le Boite, but mainly Metro Arts, because you've had a bit of a interesting time while you were there?
Yeah. So I my first experience with them was I hired out the theatre for 2 different plays. So Is a Pussy in Heaven, and then 2 months later we did Sex Shop there. And then the week after Sex Shop finished, I moved into my first art studio. And then a few months later I got the second one.
And they were all in the building?
They were all in the top level. And then a few months after that, I moved out of those 2 and I got the bigger one on level 3. And I moved into that, like lived in there pretty much straight away. I just moved in. And yeah, that's something else entirely. So yeah, I lived there for 7 months. Yeah, this is a weird time. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I've had good and bad memories of that place, but yeah, I don't know. That was a very weird time in my life, like living there. Because that's when I put on a bunch of weight, and I got really sad. And the last month or 2 that I was living there, I remember just like crying a lot. Like, I was so sad. I just hated everything. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to leave. So I gave my 30 days notice and bailed. Yeah, it was weird though. Weird time.
What about your time at Brisbane Arts Theatre and the Boite? Are there any other places that spring to mind of like this was for better or worse, a place, a venue or whatever that shaped or was a significant part of your life and career?
In year 11, I got the opportunity to be in a play at Le Boite, just a really small role, and that was good. But the best thing that came out of that was meeting the guy who ran the place, David, and that was really good. But I've got to say, Brisbane Arts Theatre, like, I walked here from the city actually, and I stopped by Brisbane Arts Theatre. It's just so weird because
for those listening, that's a
4.3 k's.
That's a little bit of a walk.
4.3 k's, yeah. Anyway, so I walked. Yeah, so my first few years out of high school, I was in a few plays there, and that taught me so much about, you know, you're reading scripts all the time. So I learned a lot about reading and writing plays just from, you know, remembering lines and then working with a few directors there was really good, as well as acting on stage in these plays. Just although it is, I feel like anyone who wants to be involved in theatre, even as a playwright or as a director, they should be on stage. Like early on, it's like you've got to get up there, act in some plays at like an amateur theatre company like Brisbane Arts Theatre, because you just learn so much about working with others and at very least just discipline, like what it's like to show up on time, to have your lines down, to be prepared, and to work in like a team environment. It's crucial, I think, to like any artist, but especially people wanting to get into theatre. Like, just get up on stage, go to some auditions.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's something that like Brisbane Arts Theatre is very special to me in that way. And yeah, there are other venues that I've worked with, that I've like hired out, but that's kind of different because I've like paid them money for their space, like Metro Arts and stuff, so it doesn't feel special.
Okay.
Whereas with Brisbane Arts, like, they gave me opportunities.
Yeah, it felt a bit less like a transaction.
Yeah, like I literally wasn't paying for, like, I had nothing to offer them except like skill or whatever, you know, like they could pick someone else. Whereas with like Metro Arts and that, like, it's a business, so obviously, like, if I say, hey, can I get this theatre for like this much for the week, like, I'm gonna say yes, like, right? Like, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
All right. And we were talking about her a little bit before we started recording, but someone that was involved in some of these opportunities, and I know is someone that you speak fondly of often is Margi Brown Ash. And could you speak a little bit of who Margi is and what she means to you?
So, Margi, I met her through David, because my friend David introduced me to her once, like 4 and a bit years ago. Anyway, then I met her properly when I had my first studio at Metro Arts, which is where she had an art studio. And then I just hit her up one day and said, hey, like I met you this time, like I'm mates with David. And then she invited me over for tea. And then we hung out a few times in her studio, just talking, drinking tea, whatever. And then I remember when I was living in the studio, I was sleeping on the floor, like this wooden floor. And then she was moving studios and she couldn't take this big couch upstairs, a brown couch. Do you remember it? Did you ever see it?
I think so, yeah.
So she gave that to me. So then the rest of the time at Metro Arts, I slept on that couch. So I just thought that was really cool. And then I didn't talk to her for a little while. Last year we were talking and then she invited me to apply for this thing in Finland. So I just got back from Finland where I was with her for like 4 and a bit weeks. And that's when like she really became like a really, really good mentor to me. Just telling me certain things, encouraging me to do certain things. She supported a application that I recently submitted to this place. I don't think I can talk about that, but like, yeah, so she's, actually, my birthday is in 2 days and it's going to be at her place. She's throwing me a birthday dinner because I've never had like a birthday party or dinner
Early
before.
happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, man. I've never had, we were talking in Finland, I was just saying, I've never had a birthday party or dinner before because it somehow came up. And then she was like, we're throwing you one. I'm like, all right. So they'll be fun. So yeah, just little things like that she's done. Actually, I'm having a private exhibition at her place in September. On her tennis courts. That sounds exciting. Yeah. So just there are so many other ways as well. Like in Finland, I didn't have stuff to paint on, and I walked to my studio one day, and there was this massive roll of canvas, just like lying on the floor, and I was legit. I remember. Later that day, I just walked up and gave her a hug, and I just started crying. I was like, fuck, so sorry. But like, I was just like, damn, like, that's like one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me. Like, it wasn't even cotton, it was like linen, it was pre-primed, it was massive, and like, I asked her, like, oh, who did this? Like, who does this, whatever. And the lady who ran the place, who worked at the residency, she said, oh, Margi got it for you. So I'm like, well, like, I never painted on anything that big. And there's so many things like that she's just done for me recently. And I know, like, I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. She's beautiful. Anyway, I could talk about her forever.
I'll have a whole Margi appreciation segment. Yeah. For anyone that's met Margi, they know what kind of spirit she has, and even the small amount of contact that I've had with her, she treats you like an old friend immediately.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can trust her and be vulnerable with her, and she just wants the best for everyone. It's amazing. So she sounds like she's been a pretty influential mentor for you and with you. Is there anyone else, like whether or not you've met them or anything? Are there any other mentors that have greatly influenced you or your work?
With mentors, there's someone else, David, who's not. I don't know if I'd class him as a mentor. I suppose he is. Yeah, it's just different. It's a bit more distant. But like we're more friends than mentors. But he is someone who, for like 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. 9 years ago I first met him. Since then, he's just been nurturing to me as an artist and helped me out at certain times. So with Margi, it's like, she'll sit down and give me advice, and like, whereas with David, it's just I'm so fortunate to just be able to have certain conversations with him and someone in his position that hardly any other people would get to have. Because like I was in New York for a bit, and then he was there to see a show, and then he just like invited me along. We hung out, we spoke about acting, we spoke about plays, and it's just, you can have conversations like that with a lot of people, but there's something special about being able to sit down with him and talk to him about art or theatre or like festivals, and so it's, I still don't know if mentor is the right word, but he's someone very special to me.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean. That word can have a little bit of...
I think there's just different types of mentors, but he would,
I think I can understand how there's a benefit. I'm not sure if benefit's the right word, but having, if you're fortunate enough to have mentors in whatever capacity, sometimes you need or want that more close knit. Teacher isn't even the right word, but it's closer, and sometimes it is beneficial in a different way when it's a little further away. It's a little less often. It's more of like a reminder, keeping things in a similar lane.
I think what's special about David and Margi is that I know I have nothing to offer these people, but they still give me time, and they still converse with me. They give me advice. Like, there's something special about that. Because with other people, it's like, okay, maybe, I don't know, like, I just know with them, there's nothing I can give them in return. They're just there to like help me, and that's like, the best kind of support when there's no agenda. Like, they just want to be nice. Like, I don't know, it's just sweet.
Yeah, and they I can't speak for them, but it does definitely feel like that they're the kinds of people that want to nurture the next sort of generation of it's a very lofty way to word it, but quite frankly, they are, they're older than you, and they want to nurture the next generation of artists, and I guess the benefit that they have is experience and being able to offer some kind of opportunity. The fact that Margi can say, like, do you want to do a private exhibition on the tennis court, and things like that, and to her it might seem relatively small, but to someone like you that can, one, definitely appreciates it, and then can utilize it, it's like you can't buy that. And I think that they know that, but they don't take advantage of it. They're not taking advantage of anyone. They're like, here's something small that I can do that I know is going to help someone out.
I can't talk for them either, but I don't know. I could. We're just gonna go down a rabbit hole because I could talk about them forever. But Margi with that exhibition thing is just, I don't know, it's just sweet. And she, when she would talk to me about it in Finland, like a fair bit would talk about it, and she always seemed like really excited. I was like, oh, she's not just saying this, and like, because she'd walk over to me and like have some other idea for it, like, oh, we should send invitations, or so, I don't know, it's just
and it's a good sign.
I can't wait to see her. Honestly, I love her so much.
Aww. Shout out.
Shout
out to Margi.
Cool. She's
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, this will be out after your birthday, but I want everyone to comment on whatever thing I've posted this on. Happy birthday, Jake. Comment for a late happy birthday for this year and an early happy birthday for next year, and that way we've covered our bases. And if you've got a tennis court,
hit me up.
Hit him up. He'll fill it. He'll fill it to the brim with the best things you've ever seen. Thanks, Jake. Thanks again for listening to the Mostly Professional podcast. My name is Matthew James French. If you'd like this and would like to support the podcast, please like and subscribe to the channel and follow me on the various social medias, which are linked in the description. My guests' details are there as well. please feel free to leave a comment or any feedback below, share with your friends, and tune in next time. I really appreciate you listening. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.